Hey guys, insight number 2 on this very cloudy, cold New Zealand day. But anyway, right, so we're in section 60. Now, verse 2, and I said verse 3, it ties with both of them. But verse 2 talks about that the Lord's not well pleased because these missionaries that he'd called that had gone different journeys to end up in Independence, Missouri, and are now about to head back home, did not spread the gospel like he wanted them to. They hid their talents and kind of did the whole A to B and not that lovely windy journey that we were talking about, where they, go and minister to that person and go and see that person and go and meet that and go to that place and have whatever experience that they need to have in that place. They didn't do that. Some of them went from A to B real fast and didn't talk to anyone or talk to very little people. They were scared to open their mouths. And you can imagine in this time, and this is the time where, you say the wrong thing, you get shot, which still happens in parts of the world. So it can be very frightening. The worst thing that would happen to me is I'd get yelled at, sworn at, and hated upon. And it's like, well, I can deal with that. It's all good. But you can see why it was scary for them. So they were fearing man. And then he says in verse 3 that if you don't and you're not from more faith, I'm going to take it off you. We're going to focus on verse 13 because this is more about that journey and how to stop and have some cool things in here. So verse 13 says, Behold, they have been sent to preach my gospel among the congregations of the wicked. Wherefore I give unto them a commandment, thus, Thou shalt not idle away thy time, neither shalt thou bury thy talent, that it may not be known. So don't be idle with your time and don't go bury your talent. And we were talking about this in our class last week about, we can all do better with our use of time. And it's not that we're idle with our time, because we do need regenerative me time, what we call me time. And that's not a selfish thing. That's a regenerating me so that I can go and do the things that the Lord wants me to do. And there's a way to find that pathway. And it's like I call it a spectrum. And I think Kelly Black talked about it being a spectrum too on Come Follow Me study, where it's never a wrong or a right thing. That just doesn't exist. There's not a balance here. Elder Bednar was talking about a month ago about a balance being found, and there isn't one. It's what works for you in that situation. And some days, like today, my husband's not feeling well, so he's just lying down and reading. And that's not being idle. He's not wasting his time. It's still productive, and it's regenerating him. So don't think of those things like that. It's not about just doing, because that's just crazy talk. But there's a balance. I say a balance. We want to say balance, but it's not really a balance. It's just finding your path through there. But my notes I've said here, are you so busy just getting stuff done that you miss the point of your journey? Because even though people I have seen zip all over the place, so overscheduled, they don't have joy in any of it. It's like, we have to go here, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do that. It's like, can you just stop for a second and just be in the moment? Because it's so much better. And then others so focused on the end goal. These are other people in time. They're so focused on the end goal, they miss so much experiences that they might have had. And life is for living. Life is for living. Life is about joy in the journey. It's service and ministering, but it's also smelling flowers and stopping for candy floss. Now, we call it candy floss. Other people in the world call it cotton candy. There's probably other names for it. This is something Emily Freeman and David Butler brought up, and don't miss this. But it really resonated with me too, because I have similar memories of candy floss when I was little. She was talking about her grandson and the way he was just fascinated with putting a little bit in his mouth and it would just disappear. And he was caught up in that experience for like 2 days of him being at her house. That was the most exciting thing for him. He got giggles about it, laughed about it, and it just brought memories flooding back to me of the first time I can remember having it. And I don't know where I was, but it was my granddad that was feeding it to me. It was on a stick. It was all pink and puffy and big, like a cloud. It seemed bigger than my head. And the minute you put it on your tongue, it was gone. But it was sweet and tasty. And it was like, wow. So you've got to have those moments where you just pause and just live. Enjoy the living. Have the gravy on the fries, because yum. Right? And it's not all just food. Smell the flowers. Go look at the sky. Go stand in the sun. The beach is an amazing place for that. I love just standing on the beach, hearing the rhythm of the waves is just beautiful. So there's many ways to do it. One of the things I did, and this is another thing about candy floss, there's a place in Paraparaumu here, well, it's called Paraparaumu, people locals call it Pram. And I lived down there, and I'd been down there a couple of times. My dad lived down there before he passed away, when he moved to Thailand, passed away. And my grandma lived not far from there, and she passed away last year, if you remember. So down there. So if you've seen me filming on the beach, it's pretty close to Paraparaumu. Right. So down there is a place called Fizzbang. And they make the most amazing candy floss in the most gorgeous colours and flavours, just wow. And I only found this because I was walking one day because I just wanted to go for a walk, and I was wandering and walking, and I saw this, what's Fizzbang? And I went in there and I got a little bit of candy floss, and it blew my mind. Now these are the moments where I was taking time out to just chill and live. I was taking that journey on a pathway that I normally wouldn't walk on. I didn't need to be there, but I just wanted to go there. It felt good with me. So this is part of doing what feels right. Taking that journey, meeting up with the people you might not have met with. Meeting up with, you find stuff. I don't know if you guys done that, but if you're just so concerned with getting boxes ticked or getting from A to B and you miss all that awesome stuff in the middle, there's no joy in that. And sometimes in an emergency, you got to get there. Like, you want your ambulance to go A to B and get there fast. You don't really want them to stop for candy floss on the way, do you? No. But anyway, so for my institute class, I've got, see, this is Fizzbang. So I ordered this. Oh, there you go. Maybe that'll be, there you go. That's raspberry. And there's watermelon, pineapple, and strawberry. So that's my institute class this week. Some of them might see this before we get to class, but anyway, I'm going to put that in a little packet with a thought on it. And the thought that I've put is from Thomas S. Monson, and he said, "Let us relish life as we live it. Find joy in the journey." And that's about stopping for those kind of things. Like if you're driving somewhere and you've got your favorite ice cream shop or a park that you like, or you just want to stop for 5 minutes and have a prayer in the car, do it. Just do it. Just enjoy the journey. Just stop in the moment and enjoy that moment. It's so much better. And that's what the Lord was saying here in these scriptures, is that use your time and your talents, don't bury them. Go and be with people. Go and help people feel the love of Christ. And you can do that so easily just by being out there and enjoying the journey. All right, that's insight number 2. I will see you for number 3 shortly.